How you been?
Good. Just going to school.
For what? For
And
teacher?
yeah,
You're going to teacher, right? For what? Just
yeah.
like elementary?
No, I decided history teacher
Oh,
for
nice.
middle school specifically, only because like high school I feel will be more years of studying that I don't want to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't think I could do with little kids like my hands are sticky. So
Uh,
I think middle school is like they know how to use the restroom by then.
oh, yeah.
So
Well, at least they should.
hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah.
um, but yeah, and then I was in between all the subjects. Like I originally wanted to do math, but then I feel like
Mm.
math gets hard. And
Hmm.
then I was like, I don't want to do English because I'd have to read all these papers that I don't want to read. So I
Oh,
think, and
yeah.
I was like, and with math, like it constantly is changing. Like the math that we did back then, new like the kids are doing a new way of adding and all that. And
Yeah.
I was like, history, it's not really going to change. Like at least the beginning
Mm.
of it. It's
Well,
just
yeah.
adding on to it. So I was like, once you learn it once, then I'll be good.
You have proved that you fight well. Now you can join us.
Keep cuts. Wake up, check your phone. Ignore the alarm. You're still alone. Wake up, rewind the night. Who are you? But also kind of who am I? Wake up, check your phone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to F and Adulting. I'm your host, Lorena. And today, joining me, we have none other than Blanca, my sister-in-law. Yay! And as you can see, right now we don't have Crystal with us because she's actually taking a little time off. She's getting married and she has a lot of stuff going on. So that's cool because at least I have, you know, Blanca to be my co-host today. And we're going to be talking about really fun stuff. Um, well, obviously, what's been going on right now, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. I know they're like in the third week, or it's they're going to the fourth week. I'm not sure. And we're talking about reality romance shows, which is Love is Blind and The Ultimatum, which are crazy. I binge watched The Ultimatum. It was intense. So I was like, I couldn't stop watching. And the Kardashian and what is it? Black China?
Black China. Yeah.
Yes. So welcome. How are you doing? Everything? It's been a
Good.
while.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Crystal.
Yes, I know. I'm super excited for her. She's getting married super like I think like next month, early next month.
Oh.
So she's like, oh my God, I need some time off. I can't, she's like all over the place. And I was like, all right, calm down. Just, do your thing.
The Johnny Depp case, I've only seen like I read the articles you sent me, but
Hmm.
I've seen like just like a lot of TikToks. But I think what TikTok kind of curates like, so I feel I get a lot of more like positive towards Johnny or like
Johnny,
Johnny being
yes.
funny or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And in the articles, though, it does kind of show that that is kind of how the case is going. That it's more positive towards him than her, which is
I,
kind of hard because I feel like Johnny's more famous. I didn't know
yeah.
who she was.
Well, she comes out in the Aquaman
Yeah, and the
movies, and
movie.
I had no
Yeah,
idea who she was before either. I don't know
yeah,
if she
but like
was probably like a model or something, right?
before Aquaman, I didn't even know like she was an actress or she who she was. Like, and
Same.
like with Johnny Depp, he's always been very like not like secretive but private. Like,
Mysterious.
yeah, like
Like you don't
his
know.
first wife, like they got married, they moved to Paris, and they were never like on any like tabloids or anything. So you don't
Hmm.
hear a lot about him until all this happened, like
Yeah.
and
And
exploded.
and it's insane because you watch the trial and he opened up a lot about his drug addiction and or like drug use and alcoholism or whatever. And people that were around him, like security guards and all that, and celebrities who've known him for years, they all talk like they have nothing bad to say about him. Before even hearing about, he was a wife beater, blah blah blah, when it came out that what is it, Opid or whatever that she wrote about her being a victim of domestic violence and whatever, and then they came out and so like the image was like everybody saw him in like a really nice positive image, and he goes and visits like the hospitals as as captain, whatever his name is. What's his name? Captain
Captain Sparrow.
I was Captain Morgan. Captain Sparrow, and anybody that would talk about him, they would say, "Oh, I've known him for years, and he's never been like
Yeah,
an abusive person, like an aggressive person. You know, he
yeah,
takes care, and you can tell just by his mannerisms or by how he reacts to like he'll like hold the door for the ladies and help them out. And I don't know if
yeah,
that's an act or not. You never know until you live with them, but from what I've seen is that there's people who don't say like they have nothing bad to say about him. Everything's very positive. And against Amber, they say, well, throughout the whole trial, like they had like different people, like I said, and they had this expert. She's a psychologist, I believe, and they did like this test on her, I guess, to see if she was suffering from PTSD because she said that she had PTSD. And
yeah.
she said, the doctor said that she was overly, like grossly exaggerating the symptoms of PTSD and that she
Oh,
had a personality disorder. So I don't know. There's just a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of little things that you just see in her,
yeah,
and what they say about her and people who have been around them. Like you're just like, okay, and I guess I'm like a bias person because I love it's bias, right? I love
yeah,
Johnny Depp.
yeah,
I love Johnny Depp, so it's like I guess you love him and you're like, I can't picture him doing that to her too.
yeah.
Hitting her like I don't know if you saw the video of him being like real aggressive when he
Oh,
was
yeah, that he was like
drunk.
slamming cabinets or whatever.
Yeah, and then like they brought it up and they're like, well, and I honestly watching the video, I was like, okay, I would have been a little like, oh shit, I would have
Yeah,
felt bad as the girl, you know, but then again, they say that she would like push him to do stuff like that.
yeah.
So I mean,
No,
I
yeah,
don't know.
like, and it's hard with like domestic abuse or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot of people, but I have met some people, and
yeah,
they do say like, oh, in person they act like super nice to everybody else, but at home,
exactly.
like you don't know them.
Oh
So that's kind of
yes.
like the hard with like when people accuse that you
Uh-huh.
don't know which side to take. But with
Yes.
Johnny Depp, like even his ex-girlfriends, like he was with Winona Ryder for like years, and she came out defending
I
him. Like he was
know.
never like that. But I'm like you, like biased in the sense like I remember I the first thing I ever saw Johnny Depp in was Nightmare on Elm Street, and that was
Oh,
against
that's
his will.
right. He was in one of them, right?
Yeah, and so that movie came out, I guess, like maybe late 80s or early
Yeah,
90s, and so I remember I was like, oh my god, he's
he's
gorgeous.
so
Like
hot. He
I
he
was like,
is.
and so he became my celebrity crush, and then later on, well, like he got older, and like he's still cute, but I
He's
now I'm like, no, you're too
handsome.
old for me.
You're way too old now, but you were cute at some
Yeah,
point. I don't know. I think that man is just handsome. Like, even though, like, I mean, yeah, he looks older now, and I
yeah,
mean, it doesn't compare to. I mean, but that happens to everybody.
yeah,
So we don't look like how we used to look before. But oh my God, he's still really handsome, and he just
yeah.
seems like a sweetheart. Like he seems like he's just like oh, I don't know. So I don't want to believe that he would do that, but you never know. Yeah, like
Yeah.
people are
But it,
different.
yeah, but in this case, like, it's been happening a lot. Like, I feel like the bad thing is that she came out when everybody was doing the whole Me Too. So
Yes,
everyone was against, like, everyone was being canceled, and it's just so easy to just, like, accuse and then you get canceled. Like,
exactly.
so it doesn't. And now I feel like they have way more evidence against her. Especially for me, the most damning evidence was when they showed that audio of
Of
her being
her,
like, "Stop crying. I didn't hit you."
I
Like,
didn't punch you. I hate
that
you, or something
I
like
hit you.
that.
Which I was
And
like, dude, what's the difference?
And even then, she kept saying, like, tell the world, Johnny, tell the world, Johnny Depp, a man, is a victim of domestic violence or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Like making fun of
do you think they're gonna believe you? Because you're a man, like,
no, yeah, like, and a lot of people are mad at the fact that Aquaman didn't drop her.
yeah,
Like, and I guess Disney dropped him. And like everyone's like,
yes,
oh,
that's
it's
Jack
just,
Sparrow.
like Jack Sparrow. I'm not gonna lie. I think I saw the first Pirates of the Caribbean when I
Actually,
was a kid,
yeah.
and that's it. I never kept up with it, so I was like, they're still making them.
Right?
So
No, honestly, I never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it, and I was actually thinking, oh, maybe I should watch them.
yeah,
Because I mean, I do like Johnny Depp, so I'm like, maybe they're good. I'm not into that type of movie.
yeah.
So I really haven't seen them, but I know they
But yeah,
did
like
drop them. Yeah.
Disney dropped him and someone else dropped him. I basically everyone was saying that everyone dropped him except for Dior. That's the only one
Yes.
that kept him.
Well,
That's all I
because
can
he's
see.
so, I think what is it, Sauvage or whatever, whatever it's called, the fragrance, it sold more having him as
Yeah, the face.
the face of that
Yeah,
cologne. And it's funny because they said that, oh yeah, she was saying, oh,
yeah,
you're too fat. Like you're not stylish enough for Dior. Dior's like a style, like you're stylish
yeah,
and classy, and you're not. You're just a fat old man. And I'm like,
yeah.
are you fucking kidding me? Like you're talking about Johnny Depp, dude. How dare you?
But I feel like the
Yeah.
craziest part of the whole thing was like the testimony of like that she pooped on his bed or
Oh my
on the
god,
bed.
are you kidding
Like
me,
I don't know how you could do that. Like I couldn't physically like
dude?
you know.
Like when I read that, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then I read it to Monches, and I was like, "Babe, can you believe this?" And he's all like, "Fuck that! That would have been it for me to leave you."
Yeah,
Like how do you
mhm,
do that to somebody like a prank?
yeah.
Stupid. I'm like, oh god, how would you even think about doing something like that? And then blaming the poor little, what were they called? They're like
The
little
Yorkie.
Yorkies,
Yeah, they're all looking at her like, what is she doing?
like the meme that you sent me, like. Oh, it was funny. So yeah, it's been interesting to see. And it's funny because like when they're asking him questions and you see all those like videos of him and how he's interacting with like the prosecutor.
Yeah,
Oh god, it's so funny. It's just funny how, I don't know. I'm thinking it's just gonna be them saying she's crazy.
yeah.
And you know,
Like it's gonna be in his favor that
in his favor, yeah.
he's gonna win. Especially like not only do they have so much evidence now against her, a lot of
Uh-huh.
people are saying that her lawyer is very like not
Horrible.
good. Yeah, like
She's not
I
good.
don't want to say incompetent, but like that he's
But
just kind
yeah.
of all over the place. And I feel bad for the guy, like he's probably nervous. Everyone's watching this like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
trial.
It's
So he's
funny
probably just
because
like,
they make fun of her and there was a video of her going to go watch, like she was in the audience, or like how like back
yeah,
like when they're entering either like a move an event or whatever, there's people always there like, oh, to sign an autograph or whatever, and they have evidence of the actual lady, the lawyer, in there, like to go see Johnny Depp. Well, like she's Johnny Depp's secret fan.
secret. She's secretly working for
She's
Johnny
secretly
Depp.
working for, exactly, dude. Oh my god. So yes, I really don't have anything else. I mean, I have a time frame of, or a timeline of when they met and all that, but
I don't know if you remember Eat True Hollywood.
hmm,
Like, so
I remember
that
that. I
show
used to love it.
stopped, and wherever it ended, that was like as much as I would know as a celebrity. I would never like go in. So for me, it ended with Johnny getting married and going to Paris, and I was like, that's great for him. And so when
Oh,
it
good
came
for
out,
him.
I was like, is this the same girl? And it's not. Like he had kids with his wife, and then I
Uh-huh.
guess they divorced sometime, and that's when he met
He
this
met
girl.
her when they did a movie. It was called The Run Diary.
For me, the case though, the most I'm a very like I guess fast paced person.
Yeah.
That's probably why I love Gilmore Girls. Like I'm like boom
Yes,
boom,
because you're probably the only one who can understand them because they
boom.
speak so fast.
And so I even have to like I can't be in silence. Like if I'm washing dishes, I have a podcast in the background, or like
Yeah.
I just have to have noise all the time.
Yeah.
And so with this case, I can't sit there and I don't know how people have sat there and watched the videos. I love Johnny, but like he
The
talks
way
so
he
slow.
speaks, yes.
Like I guess it's very patient. I don't know if they told him like, be like look very
Bore
patient so it
them
doesn't.
to
Yeah.
death and shit.
And like he'll like one sentence takes forever and I'm like, I can't. I need someone to just like give me the facts of what those 30 minutes were real quick. Like
Yes. And even then, like he goes off to like some other shit, and then the guy's like, "Hey, we don't have time. Like, you need to just answer yes or no, or answer whatever the fuck you need to answer, and that's it. Move on." So yeah, they met in 2009, 2012. They began dating. 2015, they got married. 2016, um, in May, Heard files for divorce and is granted temporary restraining order against him. I guess because she claimed that Deb had thrown a phone at her, leaving her bruised. During the entirety of our relationship, she said Johnny Depp has been verbally and physically abusive to me. And then 2017, the couple finally divorced. 2018, that's when she wrote that I became a public figure representing domestic violence. And so she wrote the op-ed on the Washington Post. And then Deb sues Heard for defamation, claiming the Post article was a ruse for her to what is it? To
to like get publicity.
Yeah, I guess to get positive press for herself.
Yeah.
Deb also claims she is not a victim of domestic violence, but instead the perpetrator, and he seeked $50 million in damages for that. And then on 2020, audio is heard allegedly saying that she did hit Deb, and it's published by the Daily Mail. After the ruling, okay, so Deb brings forward claims that Heard had affairs with businessman Elon Musk and actor James Franco, which they were supposed to go, and obviously they didn't show up. They were going to be witnesses too. He also claims that Heard put her own fecal matter in their bed. And after the ruling, Deb posts a statement on Instagram saying he had been asked to exit the Fantastic Beasts franchise, which is that one. So I know he came out in that one too.
Yeah.
Grindelwald. Grindelwald. I think that's what he played. And
Yeah, I think
then
Fantastic Beasts was like um I think it was like from the Harry Potter franchise. I think it's like
yeah,
a spin-off or something.
yeah, something like that. I watched one actually from that one, the first one. Um, and then 2021, Heard countersues Depp for 100 million, and in 2022, it started in April. The whole defamation trial, Johnny versus Heard, and I think they were in the third week last week or this week.
Yeah.
Third week. So we should see what happens. I'm telling you, I think they're going to rule in favor of him because they
Yeah.
don't have a lot of. I thought she
They
was
also
in a. I thought she was in a. They were going to ask her questions.
that might be this week or they might she doesn't have to
It doesn't have
like unless the like Johnny's defense or whatever, if they want to call her, then
Yeah.
that's when she'll have to. But if they decide they don't want to call her and she decides she doesn't want to, like they don't have to put her up there. A
You
lot
think
of
it would
times
be a good idea to put her?
I feel like in Johnny's defense they should because she hasn't spoken.
Yeah.
But as someone like if I was defending her, I think she would like
Fuck up.
make it worse. Which is
Yeah.
like what happens a lot when people are being prosecuted for like murder or whatever. Like they'll say like no, he's not gonna talk because they know if
Yeah.
he does, like he's just gonna put his foot in his mouth or
And that's what happens.
So that's why like
That's true.
that's probably why she hasn't wanted to.
And then also she had claimed that she would use, or the lawyer said she would use that Milani cosmetic thing.
Oh yeah,
For
that
to
she would like
cover up.
cover. Yeah, and then
For
Milani was like, that
bruises.
came out after, like in
You
this
know,
year.
bitch.
Melania's like, don't get us involved. We don't know you.
Like, don't even. We don't even want. I know. Instead of them being like, "Ooh, we're gonna get a lot of like, sales
Yeah.
out of this," they're like, "Fuck no, we don't want to work with her." Johnny Depp for life.
I'm surprised that I'm not surprised Elon Musk got out of not testifying because I know that he's kind of like one of the most like richest people or whatever.
Yeah,
But I'm surprised James Franco, like I know James Franco is also wealthy, but I
yeah.
feel like I'm surprised he was able to get out of not going if he was like asked to go.
I think he probably like didn't want to. He probably didn't think it would be a good idea
Yeah.
because of his accusations too.
Yeah.
About the
Yeah.
whole um
And
stuff
that's the
that came
hard
out.
part. Like with Johnny Depp, like a lot of the people that have been accused, like let's say like Bill Cosby, it
Uh-huh.
wasn't just one person. It was like at the end, like more
A
than 10
lot.
people that you were like, yeah, he probably did do that
If
because
it's
it was so
yeah.
many.
Uh-huh.
And with Johnny, it's just Amber Heard, like not even his ex-wife. Like I said, when a writer dated him, like so none of his other because he dated around before he got married, and nobody
Yeah.
else had this except. So it's harder to believe when it's just one person
Exactly. And
saying
I
these
feel like
things.
if you're that's the type of person I mean you're obviously going to be getting mad
Yeah,
and show these people who you are. If you have kids with them, I'm pretty sure they live together. So I'm pretty
yeah,
sure they would have seen, oh yeah, like, oh, he tends to get a little angry and he throws things or you know,
yeah.
but they didn't say anything like that. So yeah, like you're like, okay, maybe she's just trying to get attention. Yeah.
Speaking of attention, with Black China,
Kardashians.
yeah, I feel like
How did I
this
know you
whole
were going to
thing,
talk about
yeah.
that?
So this whole thing has been for attention. I actually didn't like
Yes.
the main thing of the case is that Black China and Rob had their own spin-off show. And basically they were only one season and then E pulled the plug. And Black China says that they were like the highest rating one. And it
I didn't
wasn't
even
because
know
of
about him, first
ratings.
of all.
Yeah, like it wasn't because of ratings. They say that it got canceled because Kim and Chris and all the Kardashians just didn't like her. Which I've I've watched all the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I
Hmm.
remember when that was going on, they did show like that Rob was upset
Yeah.
that they weren't gonna get a second season and that like that Black China was being very mean to him about it. So Chris wanted to give them a second season just to make Rob happy. And
Uh-huh.
everybody was like, no, like she should want to be with Rob just to
Because
be with
of,
him, not
yeah.
to have another. I didn't watch, I watched all the other spin-offs of the Kardashians, except for that one, Black China and Rob. And then I think Kylie had her own one too. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
watch
she
that one either.
did. I didn't watch it
And
either.
but Black China, I've never like cared for her, like because I don't
Yeah.
feel. I know it's bad to say because I know people with Kardashians technically also don't have a talent, and they're just kind of famous to be famous.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Black China is even worse. I feel like she's just kind of
He's
like
below
latched
that.
on,
Yeah.
like she just latches on to men that are like a little famous to get herself a little more
Yeah.
fame. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, like with that one too, they like said that she, I guess, because I, like I said, I never watched it, but that there was like a maybe a scene where she like put a gun to Rob's head
Oh,
and
yes, I
like
was reading
all this
that.
stuff. And so they were like, "Oh, I was just doing that for entertainment,"
They're
like
like, you have a weird way of entertaining yourself, girlfriend. Oh God. No, yes, and I don't know a lot about their situation right now about the whole like the trial that they have going on, but I know that
yeah,
the latest, I know that Kim Kardashian
she got dropped from the suit.
got dropped, yeah, from the suit.
Yeah, and it was weird because she didn't sue everybody, like
She didn't.
Courtney and Kendall didn't get in the suit. And
Exactly.
so it was just Kim, Chloe, Chris, and Kylie, which like
Yeah.
everyone thinks like she's always had something against Kylie because Kylie stole her man Tyga. So
That I've always thought that was so weird.
it was, it's weird because a lot of times you don't, especially me when I was younger, I never
Uh-huh.
really paid attention of age. So it's weird when you see it now, like that Kylie was 16 and he was like 20, or like they
When
had
they
like a
got
big age
together?
gap. Yeah, like, and but they didn't say they were together until
Of
Kylie turned
course.
18.
Why
And
would
so
they?
that's why like but yeah, with like Tyga and stuff, like it's funny because a couple of weeks ago it
Uh-huh.
came out like Black China put something. I had to sell 3 of my cars because I don't have any money because I don't get child support.
Are you
And
kidding
so
me?
she has one child with Tyga and one child with Rob Kardashian, right? And
Mhm.
so everyone's like, "Oh my god, they're like very famous people. How could they not be paying you money?" So then Rob like replied and he was like, I have my daughter from Monday through Saturday, which
Why
means
would
Black
I?
China only has her daughter one day on Sunday.
Oh my god.
And he's like, I pay for her school, which is like, I think he said like, I don't know, I'm gonna make up a number, but it was
Yeah.
like something $30,000. And
For
he's
school?
like, and yeah, and he's like, why would I give you any money like if I have her the majority of the time? And
You
then
should
Tyga
give me
answered,
money, bitch.
yeah, and Tyga answered the same. He's like, I have my son from Tuesday to Sunday or something. So that means she
Uh-huh.
only has him on Monday. And
Mm.
then he also said, and I pay $40,000. I just know that Tyga paid more. And he told Rob like a joke, like, how did you get a discount on school? Like, so everyone was like, how can you say like you need child support if you only have your kids like
Exactly. What the fuck
one
is
day a
wrong
week?
with you? And I wonder why they would do that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's weird that she doesn't have custody of her kids. Like
yeah,
usually the mom
usually
does.
it's the mom, and you'd have to be a very unfit mother for you not to get custody.
Yeah, so but it was, I feel like it was her way of
Mm.
like, this is why I'm suing because I don't have money. And I'm just like, dude, you shouldn't get money through child support or having to sell cars. Get a
But
job.
I think I read somewhere where the judge was like, "But aren't you carrying a 20,000? I mean, a $20,000 bag? Is it
Yeah,
20,000? Yeah, right?
yeah.
And you're asking for."
Well, yeah, she
He's
says that
like,
she
"Turn
lost a lot of
around."
money because she didn't get to continue on doing the show or whatever. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I need to see these ratings. Like, was it as high as the
It
Kardashians?
probably wasn't. I mean, come on. Rob is like the least
Yeah,
famous Kardashian, you know? It's
I
like the
really liked him.
Kardashians. He's real nice, right? But
Mm.
he chose not to be like, because
Yeah,
he's antisocial or whatever the fuck. But I mean, everybody understands, like, it's his choice if he doesn't want to be involved in it, which is understandable. I probably wouldn't either. But like, that's what made him like not that.
but it's weird because like if you watch like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, he was in it. I feel like the first
Oh
six,
yeah.
7 seasons, and then
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden it was that Rob doesn't want to do this anymore or whatever. And I felt that
Yeah.
was so just like weird and out of nowhere.
He just seemed like he was off, like he just
Yeah,
didn't he wasn't himself anymore. Like he was going through some stuff. I don't know.
but yeah, with Black China, I'm just like, but then I don't know if she can win because now they've came out with like emails and text
Uh-huh.
messages because they didn't want the show anymore because they felt like China was abusing Rob,
Uh-huh.
like physically and verbally and everything else, and it was very just toxic. So they didn't want to award them, like give them anything else because they just thought their relationship was just too messed up, and they felt that Black China was only there with Rob for the show and like to get publicity. So they came out with text messages. I guess I don't know if it was Chloe or Kim with the E Network saying like if you don't like pull the plug on their show,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna stop keeping up with the Kardashians.
Mm.
And then it also showed that Kylie, who doesn't really like come out a lot in keeping up with the Kardashians, that
Yeah.
she also sends a message and said, if you guys pull the plug on Blac Chyna and Rob, I will start coming out on keeping up with the Kardashians.
Oh
Like
wow.
I
Like,
will start being
hey.
more present and involved. And
Yeah.
that same year is when her own spin-off show came out. Like the one that was about life with Kylie or whatever.
Okay, well
So
yeah,
that's pretty
since
damning evidence that Blac Chyna might be right in the sense that they did
fuck
like
up. Like they messed
conspiracy.
around, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think they would have Blac Chyna wouldn't have gotten a show without them. So like, do
Exactly.
they
Like
really own her?
like you should just be thankful you had a show, first of all, like that you're known actually, because I don't remember knowing Black China.
Yeah.
before the Kardashians, really. Before they even, I didn't even know she was with Tyga. I didn't even know Tyga or whatever. So it's like I think you know these people because of them, you know?
Yeah. Well, I only knew her because of Nicki Minaj.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I do kind of have soft spot for her because she's friends with Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj is like,
Oh, shut your mouth.
anybody friends with Nicki is cool with me. I just kidding. So that one I feel is gonna go. That one isn't as like clear cut for me as the Johnny and Amber, where I feel like everything's going more positive towards Johnny,
Oh
and
yeah.
I would
And
be very
this
surprised if it doesn't. And this one I feel like it could be
either.
50-50 the way it's
Yeah,
going.
well, because of what you just said right now, like those
Yeah,
emails and stuff, that would definitely be like, okay, well, maybe you didn't, like, we weren't able to see what could have been of that show because you guys didn't give
yeah,
it a chance, you know?
yeah.
So Love is Blind, that one I watched, but I watched it a while back, and I think I remember somewhat of it.
Did you
Um,
watch
I
season one or
I
season two?
did. I watched both.
Oh,
I
okay.
had watched season one like when it came out, and then I
Yeah.
saw this one, and um, it was it was funny. It was funny because the guy that everybody was talk shit about,
Shane, the one with the crazy eyes.
not Shane, is it Shake and Depty or what?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Whatever.
Shane. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah. That
yeah.
guy, the one that was all like, you know how in the beginning, like the whole purpose of this fucking thing is to like get to know each other
Find love.
without physically like describing
Yeah,
yourself. And he's all like, "Would I be able to carry you? Would I be able to?"
yeah. Like
We're in a
at a
concert.
concert.
I'm like, this motherfucker's all trying to like be slick about it. Like,
With him, it's hard because like the reason I started watching, I do watch reality TV. Like I said, I watched all
I
of the
do
Kingdom of
too.
Kardashian,
Yeah.
but I hadn't really gotten into this one because I really liked like the drama ones. You know, those that they look crazy. But
Yeah.
a friend of mine was like, "Watch Love Is Blind so we could talk about it," and I was like, "All right." So I gave it a chance or whatever, and with this one, I felt bad for Shake, and I even disagreed with my friend. Like a
Oh,
lot of
that
people
guy.
hated him, and I didn't. Like I felt like he
He
was
was
honest.
just the thing is with him is that he was brutally honest. Like he
Yeah,
was just like very like this is what I think, and you all are thinking the same thing, but you guys aren't saying
yeah,
it, and I'm the only one who's saying it. I understood that, but I'm like,
yeah,
dude, just don't fucking go there, you know? Like you could just be nice about stuff, you know?
yeah. I felt bad because like as soon as he saw her, he was like, "Oh, she reminds me of an aunt," or
And
like,
he
"I'm
kept
just not
saying that,
attracted."
and that was fucked up because yeah, I mean, if you're not
Yeah,
physically attracted to her, then fine, just let her know that.
yeah,
Don't be like telling everybody else like, "Oh, I'm not physically attracted to her, and she reminds me of my aunt," and blah blah
yeah.
blah. And I'm like, dude, don't be an ass and be talking about her, you know? Just
No,
tell her
yeah, like
straight out, like, I'm not attracted to you, and that's it, you know?
yeah. And also like when she said no, I was like, "Oh my God, thank God you said no," because
Yeah,
this guy's just talking all this smack about you, like.
yeah.
And so she said no, and then he's all like, "It's fine. Like I
Ah,
was gonna
yes,
say
I know.
no also." Like,
No, it's okay, guys. We can still
yeah.
party. Oh God, I know. I was like, what the
But
hell's
no,
wrong
for
with you?
me that season, like even though everyone hated Shake, Shane, the one for me, what I call Crazy Eyes, like
Oh, the
he was
guy.
the one, the most interesting. Like just because he seems so much, like I was
That
like,
guy got to my nerves in the beginning, and then I started liking him. Like he's like the person that you're like, God, they're fucking annoying, and I don't like them. And then you start, they grow on you, but not
yeah.
like because they're likable. It's just that they're there, and you eventually start liking them. You know?
But yeah, like, and with Shake, I felt bad in the last episode, like the reunion, because
Hmm.
everybody was like, "Ugh, Shake, just stop talking Shake." Like,
Yeah.
and he was, for me, he was making some points because he talked about, I think her name was Shayna, that she was like, she got engaged to this guy. I don't remember the guy's name, and he
Pain.
was an atheist, and she was religious,
Uh-huh.
and she still kept going in it or whatever in the show. And Shake said, "I think you just said yes to continue being on the show. You knew you weren't going to marry him because like
Yes.
you knew he was an atheist, and they were like, "Oh my God, Shake, don't say that! Like, that's so rude." And I'm like, "That's the
It's
truth." Like,
true. Yeah.
I was like, I feel bad. They shouldn't have like. I think his name was Kyle. I was like, I feel bad for Kyle. But one of the persons on it, he was from El Paso, and I got super excited.
Yes. That was his name, Nick, or what was his name? The guy that was from El Paso. Sal, right?
Sal, yeah,
Sal
yeah,
was
it was
from El
Sal.
Paso, and he was real. I don't know. I was like, oh, he's nice. He's a nice guy and everything. And then they started coming out where he was dating somebody else while he was
Yeah,
there. And
and
that
for me,
Mallory girl,
yeah, for me, he kept singing like, and everyone was
just
like,
to fucking try to.
yeah, everyone's like, is he just trying to promote his music? Like,
I mean, why else do you think people go to these,
yeah,
reality shows? Some of them, yeah, I'm sure they go to find love and stuff, but some of them are just there to promote themselves.
yeah. Then they get really
Yeah,
famous out of it at the end,
and they
like,
do.
they get all this Instagram followers, and so
Yeah. I really got into Bad Girls Club.
I haven't watched it, but I wanted to.
Oh my god, they're hilarious. It's funny because they fight each other and then they're BFFs and then they fight each
Yeah.
other again and they start talking shit about each other. It's funny. They're funny.
But I actually did. I can say I feel I enjoyed the ultimatum a little
Bad,
more than Love Is
yes.
Blind.
And they're both hosted by Nick and Vanessa, right? Lachey.
Yeah, right.
Both hosted by them and I was like, what the hell are these guys doing another one? They do the Love Is Blind, and now they do this one. And I thought this one was better as well. Like I felt
Yeah.
like a little bit more like I was really into it. Like there was a point where I was like, oh my god, like I think I got nervous too, and I'm like, oh my god, they're really liking each other, and oh my god. And you know who I got really like that was with what's his name, April and Jake. Jake liking that Ray girl
Oh
and how
yeah.
they were like, "Oh my god, we're like the same person," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe, like I can't
No, yeah.
believe first of all that people would even think of doing something like this."
I felt bad because April and Colby, they kind of like defaulted, ended up with each other,
Yes,
and they were being very like respectful towards their relationships. Like even though they're sleeping in the same bed, like they would like put something in the middle, and it
yeah,
wasn't. And I felt bad because they show Jake and he's having like the best time, and then they show Colby's girl. I'm blanking on her name right now, but
her name was Madeline, right? Madeline.
Madeline. And Madeline's also like off, like, I want to go
Dude,
make out
that
now.
girl got to my nerves in the beginning.
And so I felt, and I was glad at the end, like, not at the end, but like, spoiler alerts for everybody that hasn't watched
Oh
it. But
yes,
like,
I
by the like
know.
third or fourth episode, Colby and April finally kissed or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, stick it to them. I was like, I hope you guys sleep together too, because they're off having the time of their lives.
For
You
real. So
know?
then also that the whole like Colby thing, how he kissed other girls and he was talking to other girls and stuff, and then he's all
Yeah.
like, well, his excuse was that he didn't get like a fair thing. Like, hey, you all coupled up and you wanted to be with him and whatever, and I didn't get a
Yeah.
choice. Well,
Right.
he got a choice, but it didn't work out to his favor. So he's like, I
Yeah.
had to kind of do my thing, like
Yeah.
on
Like,
the
we're getting all
side.
mad about it. Like, I was just
There's-
like, yeah, like, but for me, like, okay, like, speaking of like just the beginning, like the
Yeah.
beginning, there was this girl. I should pull up their names, but she was
Here.
like she was the
Which
blonde
one?
girl who got engaged.
Oh,
immediately.
her name is. Hold on. What is her name?
Yeah, I was not a fan of her personality, and like I got annoyed because like she was talking to Colby and she was like, I really like him, and then he told her immediately like, you know what, I'm not attracted to you,
He told her in
and
a
then
nice way too.
yeah, and she was just like, what? Like, I'm beautiful, like,
How
and
could
then
you
the
say that?
next day, I don't know if she forgot, I don't know if she was drunk. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna pick you. And Colby's like, why? Like, I already told you I don't like you. And she got all offended and she went and told like Colby's
Her
girl, like,
yes.
he's trash. Like he's the worst. And I was like,
You could do
no,
better
he's
than
not. He's just
him.
being honest. And like, and everybody hated Colby for some reason. It was like the same thing with like Shake. But for me, I felt Shake was a little worse and people should kind of not like him.
That
But I
guy
didn't
Shay,
feel like,
yeah.
yeah, like I didn't feel Colby did anything that really was like,
Okay,
oh,
first of
he's the
all,
worst.
the show to begin with, you're dating other people. Like, why, if for some reason he didn't get to choose the girl that he wanted to go with, why can't he fucking do his own thing? If you're
Yeah.
technically doing your own thing, it's like you're broken up and you're testing the
Yeah.
waters and seeing if you really are in love, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, what does it matter if he goes into a bar and sees a girl that he likes, like gets a
Yeah.
number, you're talking. It's not like they're living together like you, like your partner, and the
Yeah.
other. So it's like I don't get the whole like why would you, why they're
But
mad
for
at
them, they
him.
were like the most shocking that they still ended up together because through the whole thing, she's like one,
She
she
seemed
seems
like
drunk
she
every
didn't want
episode.
it. She seemed like she didn't want like she wanted Randall so bad. Feel like he's my perfect
Yeah.
guy.
And as soon as like the first episode started, she was like, "I'm so excited to date,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "If you're
Bitch
excited to
doesn't
date, then
want
you
him.
shouldn't be in a relationship."
And that's what I got from her, and that's the reason why I didn't like her. I'm like, this bitch doesn't even want to be, because she would even refer to Colby, or what's his name, Colby, right?
Yeah.
As like, oh, the person I came with, like he, or like the
Yeah.
person, like he. She wouldn't even say his name. She wouldn't even say like my boyfriend, or like my
Yeah.
partner or whatever, the dude. She would just
No.
be like very dry about it.
No. Yeah. Like, and so she seemed super excited for the whole thing, and like I felt bad because like her friends treated Colby like trash. Like,
Yes.
and I'm like, I would never let my friends like treat, Eddie like that. Like, like,
I don't know.
so I'm just like, why would you still want to be with her if you know her friends don't like you? And like, I don't know, I don't know if they watched the show after and how he feels of watching her say all these things about him. Like, I don't want to be with him anymore. And they got married on the spot, but a lot of people are saying that the reason they got married on the spot is because she found out she was pregnant. Like,
Probably because she got pregnant right after.
yeah.
So it's like,
But for me, my biggest concern was like, when did she find out? Because she was drunk the majority of the time. You
what if
know,
it's
I was.
Randall's? That's why I
It
think they
comes out
said. I
that
don't know
like,
if you saw the reunion. Did you see
yeah,
the reunion thing where it says
yeah,
like, "Oh, and it's Colby's," and Randall was like, "What? Like, why would they have to fucking say that? Like
yeah.
emphasize the fact that it's Colby's kid, not mine."
But I was kind of in
Um,
the reunion. They did show like Ray and Jake. I think that was
yeah,
his name. And I was like, I thought it was messed up that they basically ditched their relationships and ran off to the sunset or whatever. So it was
uh-huh.
kind of like refreshing that they didn't end up together. Like that at the end they were like, yeah, we just couldn't work it out. And I
Yeah,
was just like,
I
it
was
was
kind
a
of
less,
glad. I was
yeah,
kind of glad that Jake was single and like he didn't have April or Ray, because I didn't really.
yeah,
I liked him in the beginning, but then I didn't like him at the end, towards the end. I was like, this little fucker, like he's not even. You know how when they go, okay,
yeah,
so basically in the beginning, you're like you come in with your. I'm just gonna summarize this thing. Like they take couples, they break them up. They force them to kind of rethink their relationships and decide to get married or not. So basically, they get, they come in with their couple and then they're forced to break up and date each other. And towards the end, they go back to their original couple for 3 weeks and they live together and they see whether they want to be married to them or they just want to leave them. So when the whole point of, or when it got to the point where he had to go back with April, I felt like he wasn't really giving April a fair,
like a fair chance.
yes.
Yeah,
And I'm like, that fucking sucks too because your mom loves her, your
yeah,
family loves her, and it's like, why would you just throw away 2.5 years? I know it's not a lot, but it's time, for
yeah,
just the fucking chick that you just met, you know?
Yeah, and that was my when originally I saw the trailer again. My friend that had told me to watch Love Is Blind,
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh my God, look, they're the same creators. They're doing this. We got to watch it." And when I originally saw the plot, and it was just kind of like, these couples have been together for a long time. Someone's giving an ultimatum: marry me now or leave. I'm thinking it's like a couple like my relationship where
Like
we've been together. We're gonna have
years.
11 years in June,
Oh
and we're
my
not married.
goodness. 11
And
years.
yeah, so I'm thinking it's couples like that have been
Yeah.
together a long time for
Yeah,
you to
like
be
2.5
tired enough to
years.
say, marry me now, or like, you know?
Yeah.
And then when they started coming out, these people were like
All of them
25
were 2.5
or younger.
years. Uh-huh.
Like the age I was like, dude, like you're still in your 20s to figure it out, like to be such in a rush to get married. And then two,
Yeah.
it was like 2.5 years. Like all of them had the same like 2 years. And I'm like,
5 years.
and some of them were like, oh, we've never even lived together. And I'm like, how can you be such in a rush to get married if you've never really even lived together? You only
You
have
don't
2 years
even know.
together,
Yeah.
like, and one of the couples went in there because the guy wanted to have kids and the girl didn't. And he was
Uh-huh.
like, I want to have kids. And I'm like, dude, you're like 25, 26. Like, you can still wait. Like, it's okay. You can wait for her
He's
to
like, no.
want to. And so, and at the end, like, I guess the person that he wanted to pick got picked or wasn't going to pick him. So then all of a sudden he was like, I'm going to get engaged. Like, I'm going to
Oh my
marry.
God. Did you see that? Okay, so
Yeah.
what was it? Lauren and Nate. So Lauren
Yeah.
is saying like it was I don't know if it was her turn to pick or whatever, but she was just like, you know what, like I feel like she was kind of nervous and kind of sad because nobody had picked her and she felt like kind of like the odd one. And
Yeah.
she just like, and Nate noticed that like and it I guess it was his turn to pick and he was like, you know what? I picked Lauren, which is his
Yeah.
girlfriend, and he goes and like proposes to her in front of everybody, and it was like a big shock. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is
Yeah.
happening! Can this happen?" you know,
I'm like,
and
are they allowed to pick
are
their
they
person?
allowed to propose to each other? So it was fun. I was like, "Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet." And then fucking Nate, no, not Nate. Was it Lauren and Nate? No, what was their name? No, it's not Lauren. Lauren's the one that didn't want to have kids, and Nate is the other guy, right? So which one's the other chick? Oh, I don't know. The one that I was talking about, I forgot her name. Anyways, so and I had her name somewhere, but I'll put it here. I'll edit it and I'll write it here. But okay, so Lauren
Okay, so
and
the ones
Nate,
you said, their
yeah,
names are Alexis and Hunter.
Alexis and Hunter, yeah. So Hunter goes and proposes to her, and like,
Yeah.
and she felt so good because pretty much she was gonna be left alone. Like nobody was picking
Yeah.
her, and it
Yeah.
was funny because I wasn't really a big fan of her either. Like because
Yeah.
she pretty much was telling everybody like, "Oh, well, you have to make like really good money in order to marry me," or to be with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And so Hunter ended up proposing to his girlfriend, whatever. And it was like a big moment where everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
And see,
And
that one was felt
they
romantic
would
and
felt
like
good.
authentic,
Nate,
kind of. Yeah.
Nate felt like, oh fuck, like, oh, what am I gonna do? And then he's
Yeah.
telling this other girl, like, I'm gonna pick you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
That was,
nobody picked him. Like whoever he would
yeah.
pick, they would end up picking somebody else. So it was like the
Yeah.
second or third time they had done that to him. And then
Yeah.
he's like, I'm like he whispered to fucking one of them,
Madeline.
Madeline,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna end up picking you.
Yeah.
And then they asked Lauren. No, they
And
asked.
Colby had picked Lauren.
Yes, Colby had picked Lauren because he liked her.
And that was when Nate was like, oh shit, like
He got
someone's gonna pick her.
scared. Yeah,
Yeah. And he was like, I have to go and do it right now. Like,
yeah,
so, but they've actually come out in podcasts, Lauren
hmm
and Nate,
yeah.
and they've said that he said, he was straight out, he's like, I saw that my pick was going to ultimately be April, and I felt bad for April, because he was like, and I didn't want to be with April. Like, and then that Lauren also, that one kind of threw me, because I did think Lauren and Colby, it looked like
What
they
a
were getting
yeah,
along. But
yeah.
Lauren also in this podcast interview said, yeah, and I saw I was gonna be with Colby. And I guess the night before they had to pick, Lauren had told Nate, like, I don't want to be with Colby. And Nate had said, I don't want to be with April if it happens or whatever. So they made a pact, like, if that was gonna end up being the result,
Then they
that
would
they were just
just.
gonna say they were gonna get married to
Oh
just get out of there and
wow.
not have to like live with this person that they didn't want to. So
Uh-huh.
and I felt bad for April and Colby that they were like that, like because it was all
Yeah.
fake. And that's why you don't even see them again, I think. Like they just didn't even return. Because at least Alexis and Hunter, when they got married or
Yeah.
like they got engaged, they still showed them there and
At the
stuff.
end,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. But I
That's
honestly
true.
in real life, like I really hope that Lauren does leave Nate. Cause I just one
He
the
seems
like
shady.
yeah, like it just seemed all shady the whole thing. And like if she really doesn't want to have kids, she can find someone that also doesn't want to
To
have
have
kids. Like
kids, yeah.
I think it's like a big sacrifice because like later on he's gonna throw it in her face like, oh, I never had kids because you
Yeah,
didn't want to, you know? Like
that's
it's just
true.
not a good like foundation.
And 2.5 years is not that long to like you can recover from that.
Yeah.
You
But like
know?
so yeah. And like how you're saying with like what's the thing? With
Who?
the mom of um
Oh, about Jake?
yeah, when she was like, I love April, na na na. I was like
Dude, yes.
I hope my mother-in-law would be like that. Like, who is this?
She is like that. What are you talking about? But it was so funny because I felt bad for Ray because I'm like, damn, this lady is like in love with April. Like, she's like talking about April and April. And Ray was like, great.
And it was very refreshing compared to like they had a dinner with Ray, but this time it was Ray and her partner,
Uh huh.
Zay, I think. And the mom was basically like not attacking him, but like Ray doesn't talk. Like she just didn't know how to communicate
She
for herself.
didn't. Yeah.
So the mom was like communicating for her. And then he started crying and she was just like, and even the sister was the one consoling him, like at this little
Yes.
lunch. And they showed that, and then they showed the way Madeline's friends were with Colby. And I was just like, why would you guys want to be in these families of people that like don't like you? You know,
Yeah.
like for me, that's a red flag of like I'm not gonna, I shouldn't be here. Like,
Like, why
and then
would you
all of
want to
Madeline's
feel
friends like
uncomfortable?
Randall's amazing, and Randall checks all the boxes, and I was like, this is a very toxic friend group. Like,
Dude, yes. Or like what I found funny was when they were all together, like drinking, and all the girls are there, and they're talking about like each other's man.
yeah,
Like when the Shanique is like right across Madeline, and Madeline's fucked up. She's fucking drinking, and she's
yeah,
talking about Randall, how she he checks all her boxes, and he's a perfect guy. And then Shanique, which is her, the
yeah,
original partner, she's just
yeah,
looking at her like, "I'm gonna kill you, you little bitch. You better,
yeah.
just continue talking. Oh my
Like it
god,
felt very rude,
it
like because
was
that's
rude, dude. It was
yeah,
like, why would you even go there? You all know that. I mean, obviously, there's gonna be jealousy.
yeah. But that even that encounter, like for me, gave me secondhand embarrassment. But it was
Yes.
even worse that then they had them reunite again for Alexis's like bachelorette party.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was even more rude that Alexis was telling Ray, like, you want to be with Jake. You want to be with
Oh
Jake.
my god,
Just
why
tell
would they do
April.
that? And then April's
Like,
right there.
yeah, like, just tell April. And Ray's like, oh, I don't know. Like,
Like
and she's crying.
everybody loves you too. You two are like meant to be together.
Yeah.
And
And then
April's like,
April's
"Hey,
over in the corner
bitches."
being like, I can't drink. I might be pregnant. And I was like, that's so manipulative. Like,
Yes. I was like, but then I liked April though.
yeah.
I'm like, April is such a sweetheart. So I don't know. I thought Jake was so stupid.
So from all the girls in that season or whatever, I didn't care for Alexis. I was glad she wasn't around that much because I think I
Oh
would
my
have
god,
gotten
I
more
think I would
annoyed.
have annoying, yeah.
And for me, why do I keep Colby's girl?
Colby, who was it?
Did we say it was
Madeline.
Madeline?
Madeline.
Yeah, I couldn't stand her either.
Oh God.
But
Um.
and now she like defends her like relationship, like because she's pregnant and everything, you know.
Mhm.
So I hope they are happy. They were the only couple that really ended up together. Because even though like
Oh,
Shanique
Shanique
said,
and no, Shanique and Randall ended up together, but then they broke off
yeah, and
after
they're
the
like trying to
show.
work it out.
For 6 weeks, I think they broke it off, and then they
Yeah.
found out they couldn't be, they couldn't
And I know they
be.
only show like a snippet of their relationship, so you can't really say because I wouldn't want people to say anything about mine. But I just feel personality wise, I don't think they're a match. They're
No,
both cool people. Shanique seems like a cool person, and Randall seems real sweet.
Shanique
But
is
they have
beautiful, dude.
but they have serious like communication issues that I think she needs a stronger man, like a stronger personality to
Cause
match her strong personality.
he's very like laid back, very chill, very like
Yeah, like he
yeah.
seems very soft, like
And
so.
she's like you know, I think
Yeah,
she's like a personality A personality or whatever they say.
yeah.
I don't know, but would you be able to ever like do something like this? Experiment?
I when I saw it, I did
Insane.
think about it, and I kind of said I would. Like I'd be interested, like to
Really?
see. And but Eddie was like, he said straight out, he's like, I'd be so mad
Dude,
that
they're
you.
like seriously like not even that far away from each other and seeing someone talking to your man and they're laughing. Oh, I would have been like, fuck this. I
Like he
couldn't.
said that he would, because I kind of explained the plot because he didn't want to watch it,
Yeah.
and I told him, okay, so like one of the episodes, like you sit on a table and that's when you pick a person,
Uh-huh.
and he said, I wouldn't like the way that the other guys like got engaged. He's like, I wouldn't ask you to marry me. I'd be so pissed off at you for making me go to this thing that I would pick anybody just to spite you.
And
Like,
I think that's what happened with Kobe. No, with
yeah,
Kobe with Jake. Because he
yeah.
kept saying, "Oh,
I got
I
dragged into
interested.
this.
Yeah, I got dragged into
Yeah,
this." And like I think he was out of spite. I think that's why he chose Ray too. He was like, "Fuck this. I'm
yeah.
gonna do
I mean,
this,
the
and
biggest
fuck
plot
you."
twist was that Ray ended up becoming bisexual
Oh,
at the
I
end.
know. Which I
Which,
mean, good for her. But I'm just saying, like, it's funny because I really didn't like Jake at the end. So I'm like, oh, I'm glad they didn't. They're not like happily ever after. Like, oh,
so
and
with
they'll
you
be.
and Monchis, though, you guys recently got married after like 5, 6 years.
No, we were together for 8 years.
Oh, yeah. See,
So I
time.
mean, yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
So would you, if like you guys hadn't gotten married yet, would you have taken? Well, I know you said I know you're very jealous.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm a very jealous person. I would have
Did
never
you
done
ask?
something like that.
Did you ask him if he would go?
Yes, I told him. I told him about it, and he's like, "Wow!" Like he's like, "No, I don't think I would do it, babe." Like, and then he's like, "Well, I did kind of get you with an ultimatum," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then he reminded me about like when we first started going out, when we first met each other. He pretty much told me. He asked me, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" No, no. Yeah, do you want to be my girlfriend? And then I was like, oh, well, we can be friends. And then he's like, Estrada or nada? He went like that. I don't know where he got that from, but it was funny. And I thought it was funny, right? But
Yeah.
like, no, or I don't know. I don't think it was like that. I think he asked me out. I said yes. And then I think I had asked him, like, if I would have said no and I would have told you like, oh, but we can be friends, and then he's like, Estrada or nada? And I thought it was hilarious. I laughed at that and I'm like, where is that from? And I forgot where he told me it was from, but he's like, he pretty much like gave me an ultimatum, like either you're with me or that is it, like I won't be your friend because I don't want you as a friend.
Yeah.
I want you as a girlfriend. So I really forgot how it went, but I was like, "Hey, you pretty much did give me an ultimatum." And I was like, "All right, well, fuck it. Let's start dating." So we started with an ultimatum. Um,
Well,
but
see, when Eddie
yeah.
and I, we also kind of started with an ultimatum because we started dating. I think we were dating for like a month,
Uh-huh.
and I just, I asked him. I was like, well, what is this? You know, I was like,
Yeah.
I legit said, are you gonna ask me to be your girlfriend or not?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he was like, I guess.
Like,
And
I'll
then I
play
was like, okay,
games. Uh-huh.
yeah. And then that's when that's how we started like officially dating. But I mean, at the beginning of it, we met in a summer,
Uh-huh.
and he was gonna go off like to be a senior in high school. I
Uh-huh.
was already in college, so we really thought it was gonna just like be that summer, and then it was gonna be like not being together anymore.
Like a fling, like a little summer
Yeah, like just like a summer thing.
romance.
And at the time, the most popular song was like "Somebody I Used to Know."
Oh God.
So that was our song, and till this day, that is still our song. We don't have a
Yeah.
romance song. That's our
Uh-huh.
song. And I'm like, that's what we're gonna end up dancing on our wedding because it's the only song we ever dedicated to each other.
That's hilarious. Oh. So yeah. And like I told him, would you ever be able to? I'm like, I feel like if you have to give someone an ultimatum, and I'm like, fuck, like, then
Yeah.
why are you like, okay, so Shanique's mom made a point when she fucking told Shanique, like, why do you have to drag him to do this? Or why does he even have to be doing this
Yeah.
for him to marry you? Like, don't you know your worth?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and why does he need to why doesn't he need an ultimatum, you know? So
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, well, yeah, it's true. Like, why would you need to tell someone or give someone an ultimatum? Like, they're pretty much already telling you, you know?
Yeah. Like
And I
even Shanique's
guess,
dad said something like, I don't understand how he doesn't see what an
yes.
amazing person he already has. Like, and if he can't see that, then like that's not the person
But
for her, then, you know?
but I feel also I could like how you're saying they're super young. Like why?
Yeah.
Like I get the fact like oh there's a timeline and people are like oh no I have to go to college and I get married or get propose get married have
Right.
children blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
life's not like that, you know. Like you can't be doing that. You can't be
Yeah.
competing. You can't be like competing with your best friends or
Yeah.
and it's like it's gonna happen whenever it happens and if it doesn't happen oh well like fucking move on, you know.
Yeah.
You can't be like oh it has to happen when I'm 20 something and this is because my life's always gone the way that I planned it
Yeah.
or whatever. Some of these kids or they're all young, right? So some of them are like I'm not ready because I'm not financially ready there or I don't want to, you know. So
Yeah.
you can like pressure someone to marry you because that's your plan and I picked you to be my boyfriend and it's insane. Like it's crazy.
No, yeah, like, and how you're saying, like, everybody has a different timeline. I had actually said that to one of my friends because I've had the same two friends, one since middle school and one since high school, and
Uh-huh.
I suck at meeting new people, so for me, I like cling on to them for life, and it's
You're
weird
like
the
I
different,
peed on them and they're mine.
like, it's weird the different paths we each took because, like, one of them she ended up becoming a nurse, like, she got really
Uh-huh.
dedicated. Well, she graduated, she's a nurse now,
Well,
but she
that's
doesn't,
nice.
she's not in a relationship, she doesn't have any kids, she's kind of dating or whatever, and then my other friend, she and I both kind of like stopped going to school and stuff because life got in the way, and we moved in with boyfriends and stuff, and she ended up like leaving that boyfriend, but now she met this guy and now they have two kids and they're engaged and they're gonna get married, you know?
Hmm.
And so, and me, I have dogs. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
So,
you have dogs.
yeah. So I'm just like, it's just weird. Like, everybody has something like that the other person doesn't have or whatever in the different paths that we all kind of took. But yeah,
Yeah.
these people I feel are the people that wanted that, like, okay, you graduate high school at 18, you go to college, graduate at 22. Then by
Hmm.
25, I should be married and have a house, and
And I
like
should
they're
have
trying to
this and
follow this schedule that doesn't really exist. Like, and my friend, the one that told me to watch the show, she asked me not if I would do the ultimatum, but she did ask me like, "Don't you want to get married?" Like, because we've been together
but that
forever. Like,
yes.
and I kind of was just like, when me and Eddie Burley got together, I was 19,
You
and of
guys
course
are
you have those
young. Yeah.
dreams of like, I want to have a wedding and be a princess and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, um, but after a while, like I kind of got over it.
And you
That it didn't,
do.
like, I feel like we're already kind of married, so it doesn't really matter. And now I
Yeah.
feel like I've waited so long that I don't want to unless I have like a really like bomb ass wedding,
Yeah.
like that I am.
Yeah.
And for me, there's like other goals that are more important. Like we were seeing all our friends buy houses, and we were like, we should buy a house, you know? And then we started thinking about it a little more, and I told him, you know what? Like my goal isn't to get a house just because everybody else is getting a house. Like I think my goal now, I took so much time off school. I really want to graduate. Like I was like, if I complete that goal for me, I will be content. And like it doesn't matter if I don't get married or we don't have kids. Like I feel I really want to graduate in something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why for me, like marriage is kind of like, if it happens, great. And if it doesn't, I'm pretty content as a
Yeah.
person. So that's why these people, I was like, you're so young. Like you don't even
I
know them.
wasn't, yes.
So,
Like, you guys started off, like you said, you started off like super young. So it's like you guys are still young, that you still have all the time in the world to get married, you know?
yeah.
And Monchis and I mean, we're like already in our 40s. Like, well, I'm gonna be in my 40s next year, but Monchis is already in his 40s, you know? We just kind of like, and it was funny too, because we're like, I was never thinking of like, he had asked me, and I was like, I don't want to get married again because I've been married before. So I'm like, I don't want to get married again. And he stopped asking me, right? And then out of the blue, I was like, you know what? Let's just get married. Like, get married, through court,
Yeah.
but something small like you and I, whatever, And it just came out to be like, let's just celebrate it with everybody.
Yeah.
And it was
And it,
something more like, not
and
like
it was
a,
beautiful and intimate, you know?
it was, and I loved every moment of it because I felt like it was just like a celebration of our love. It wasn't like, oh, we're getting married and it feels like, oh my God, you're my husband. And, like
Yeah.
because we've lived together for 9 or 8 years already, like we already know each other. So people ask
Yeah.
me, like, how do you feel being married? And I'm like, I feel the same fucking way. I woke up feeling the same way because we've been living together forever. So it was just like a celebration of your love. So whenever you guys do choose to or not, like it doesn't really matter because you guys love each other. But I mean, if you guys choose to, it'll just feel like you're just celebrating your love.
Yeah.
It's not like a typical like wedding where everything's new and like, oh my God, because you guys know each other. Like, and
Yeah.
I feel like you should live together,
Yeah.
And some of these people weren't living together, like you said.
Yeah. That's
So,
why, like, I don't know. And there's a lot of people that are like that, like, oh, I'm not gonna live with anybody until I get married. And I feel that that's kind of a mistake
yes.
because you don't learn a person till like you like live
Imagine
together.
that.
I'm sure Eddie didn't know I was this crazy. I just like because I feel like I'm very composed
Yeah.
with people, and then I'll get upset and I'll just go to like the bathroom or something or and cry. And he's like, I didn't know you cried all the time. I was like,
I
that's
didn't
how I
know
can.
you had all these feelings. Yeah, I have feelings. Yes. No, I get it. And I mean, that's the only way you can get to know someone. And I feel like that's the only way you can have a lasting, relationship with someone because now you know what you're getting yourself into.
So I feel like this show, well, like the non-toxic version would
Yeah.
have been instead like we're gonna get couples that want to get married and make them live together for 3 weeks. And I still think that would have been interesting
Oh, that
because
would have.
like that's when you get in fights and like because you're barely learning each other, like couples that have never lived together. And that would have been a more like authentic way of figuring it out than like we're gonna make them date other people, you know.
Yeah. It was really interesting. I love the fact that you know your stuff. You know
If
your
it's pop
stuff.
if it's pop culture or true crime, those are
Oh
my
my God,
bread and
true
butter.
crime. Have you been following the one with the Melissa lady
No,
with her baby?
no.
That okay, so this lady, her name's Melissa something. She's Hispanic. And she's the first
Oh wait,
Hispanic lady to be in
the
death row.
the one that it was like Melissa versus like
Yes,
Texas
the
Texas
Texas
or
state of
yeah
Texas versus Melissa.
yes, okay, yes,
Have
okay,
you been
I'm with you now.
following that?
I haven't following it, but I did watch the original documentary. It was on Hulu,
Yeah.
and basically I do know that it was that her child died, and it was that they're blaming her basically for abuse, and like half the kids say no, and the other half are saying, yeah, she was a little abusive.
Yeah.
So,
I
but she
don't
had a lot
know.
of kids.
Dude, 14. Okay, 14 kids? I think 14 kids. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I have a lot to say about that. It's insane because I feel for the lady, but at the same time I'm like this little if you see photographs of the baby's body, that her
yeah,
whole body was bruised.
yeah,
So I'm like, how the fuck is she gonna be getting all these bruises from a fall? Just like a fall. I get you're gonna get bruised up, and
yeah,
but all the body, like
yeah,
there's a lot of questions, and maybe yeah, like maybe she didn't kill her, but she was neglectful.
yeah.
That's
Well,
too
it's like
many
that case
kids.
that was pretty famous a couple of years ago. I think Gabriel Hernandez.
Oh my god, that case, dude, I
And
felt
it
so
also was
bad.
kind of that like CPS kind of failed him, and it was the parents, and so it's kind of the same with this situation. Is like it is it is parent neglect, like
It
because she
is
had so many kids, and I was thinking like if you have that many kids, that must mean you're getting food stamps, and it must mean you're getting
some kind of help.
like Medicaid and stuff like that. So if she did fall and you saw her fall and you do
Why
have
would
Medicaid or
you
something,
not
why wouldn't you go take her like,
the
hey,
hospital?
let's make sure she doesn't have a
Or even
concussion
if
or
you don't
something.
have medic, it doesn't fucking matter. If you see the staircase and someone's telling
Yeah.
you that they fell from, or some of the kids saw her fall and they're saying she
Yeah.
fell, you obviously see her on the floor. It wouldn't matter if it's 2 steps or all the way. I would have still taken her to the hospital to get checked, and then you deal with the
Yeah.
money issue. It's just
No, yeah.
she was being neglectful. Like, oh yeah, I checked her, she looked fine, and okay, that's it. No, you don't know. There's an internal damage. You don't know what's going on inside.
Yeah.
Poor little baby. I had some other articles that I wanted to talk about. I always find crazy articles that I like to talk about. I'm like, what the fuck? Like one of them I saw today that how they have the metaverse or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Some lady was saying, and I think I reposted it, that she got raped and sexually harassed in the metaverse,
Oh,
like virtually.
yeah.
And I was like, what? I thought it was funny, right? So I started reading it. And then she's pretty much saying that she went into the metaverse, which is the virtual world.
Like VR?
And yeah, like VR.
Oh,
So I
okay.
guess you
Yeah.
enter and it's like you can pretty much do whatever you do now, but like in
Yeah.
the virtual world.
Yeah.
That she entered it, and right after she started getting her sexually harassed and like verbally harassed, and then they ganged up on her and they raped her or they groped
Yeah.
her or whatever. And I'm like, my goodness, women aren't safe anywhere. Not even virtually, dude. I'm like,
Eddie has the VR, and
yeah,
well, I wear glasses. So
yeah.
if you want to play VR and you wear glasses, you either have to get like special goggles or like put
Oh,
on contacts.
yeah,
So he did put it on me and I saw a little bit, but it was all blurry. But
yeah.
like the conversations they have for me seem super inappropriate if little kids are also in there. So for me, it was really creepy, like the
Like,
whole thing.
yeah, the whole
Like,
idea of it is creepy.
so I can believe that it probably did happen. Like,
No,
people are
yeah, and it
ugly.
like I don't think anybody was questioning the fact that it happened, but the fact that she posted it and people were like, "Oh, well, you should have been. Why did you pick a woman avatar? You could have been a male avatar. That's your fault." And like people or like it's kind of like a saying like, "Oh, well, you're asking for it because you're a
Yeah,
woman or because you're walking and it's dark out and you're not at home at a certain time or you're dressed this way. So I'm like, damn,
yeah,
like not even in a virtual world are we as
safe.
women like safe, and it's sad and it sucks.
Yeah,
You wouldn't think, like, I thought it was funny when I read it, honestly. Like you read that little caption and you're like, oh, that's funny, like that's like
yeah,
why, and then you start reading the article and I'm like, my goodness, because a lot of the responses that she got was like, well, why didn't you choose a male avatar? And
yeah,
it's your fault. And, You weren't physically like, you know, attacked. So what does it matter? But I'm
Yeah.
like, God, like,
But that's still like an ugly experience. But at the same time, I'm like, why didn't you log off? Like, you don't have to.
why do
Like,
you
as
have
soon as
to
you saw that, like, because from
just
what I understand
leave?
from VR, like, if Eddie doesn't like where he is or whatever, he can pick a different
Yeah,
land or whatever to go on or whatever. And so I'm just like, if you saw the response you were getting, why didn't you go somewhere else? Like, pick another place
exactly.
to go to.
Because you
So,
can.
but then again, that sounds like I'm victim shaming. The other people were
Yes,
the ones in the wrong. I am saying that, but I also am like, why would you want to go through that virtually? That seems like such a ugly
like why
experience. Like,
put yourself in that
yeah,
situation when physically you're not there? So it's not,
yeah,
so you can turn it off and like that's like the perfect, like
that you can escape.
scenario of
Yeah,
an event. If at any moment it would happen to you, that would be the perfect scenario because you can log off and hey,
yeah,
it's not, I'm not going to accept it. But
yeah,
if it physically is happening to you, it's not like you can just get up and walk, because if it's a bunch of guys, it's a little bit.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you for joining me today. Did you have fun?
Well, yes. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
So,
you're welcome.
Be alive, start a podcast, become a DJ, try and fill the void inside. I'd be lying if I didn't say that sounds nice. Wake up, check your phone, but the battery's down.